So it is clearly very dark. There's a reason for that. It's because I'm here later than I normally am. Today's Thursday. It is. 145 dials today. One booked demo. The demo that I booked was a cool one because I called the guy on Monday and used the cold call line, like this is a cold call, 30 seconds, or that thing. And he hung up. So then I left a note for myself saying like, hey, by the way, like use this line. He hung up. Then today I called him at noon and used the regular line that is included in the script, which actually he stayed on the phone for longer, but then was like reluctant to stay, and then went going like, hey, can you call me back? Like I'm in the middle of something. Like push, and like no, really call me back. I say like what time? He says call me back at 4. So I did. Normally what happens there though is they don't pick up, and then so it's like oh, that's too bad. But this time he actually did pick up. And it ended up being a super successful. If you can't fucking see me, I'm just gonna have to expose the shit out of this so that it's super pixelated in colors, and the colors all don't make sense, and there's dots everywhere. That's what that is. But he seemed very, like, rather intrigued by the program, to a point where, like when I explained how, like, okay, well, every person would have filled out these 30 to 40 questions, so they're not like begging for someone to call them, but they've clearly expressed more interest in the services you potentially could provide than just someone you're calling randomly. Then he was going like, oh, okay, no, that makes sense. Like, and says, I'm interested. I guess the next step now is to like book another time to really like talk this through. And it was like, oh, well, I've never had this happen, like before any of the qualification questions. So that was encouraging. But I thought that was good, especially after a long day of calling, voicemails, people not being there and stuff. But at the end of the day, I got a message from one of the other newer account executives being like, hey, can I ask you a question? And I was like, sure, go ahead. But the thing is, he said he like, I forget what it was. He was going like, as I know that it's getting dark and the moon is coming on us, but like the wolves, you can hear the wolves in the darkness, but can I ask you a question? I liked the way that it was phrased. Like it was creative in that. And then so I just like opened a huddle with him so I could actually talk to him in real time. And his questions were more about like he said, he was struggling to keep people on the phone with the cold calls, like the openers. He didn't really like the one that we had, or the company had given him, and was getting immediate hangups and stuff. And that, I think what he said was that he was talking to the sales manager about it. And the sales manager went like, hey, you should ask Duncan, because he's been trying something and it has been working. So then I got to explain to him like just that cold call line, which I got from the UK's most hated sales trainer. But then it was a great conversation. Like we talked for like 25 minutes, talking in the ins and outs of everything. There were things where it was interesting because he said like going, okay, so I would start off the call by going like sorry to bother you. Like this is a cold call, so you can't hang up, or like, would you like to hang up or give you the 30 seconds? And then I went going like, no. Right at the beginning, don't apologize for bothering them. Like you are in interruption already. Make the interruption worth it. And then so just talking through all that and like actually being able to help somebody else out with that, I felt good. So that was cool. Which then made me think two things. Number one, okay, potentially there is an avenue for business model doing that. Number two, or three things. Number two, like that is a skill I should continue to try to develop. But number three, the work that I've been putting in to improve my cold calling skills is paying off to the degree where there is a discrepancy between where I am at and where someone who has recently started is, such that they would come to me and be like, hey, can I have some help? Do you have any pointers? All this kind of stuff, which then circles back to go like the idea that I had of I should learn this skill so that I can teach it to somebody else, because that could be useful. Here is a life experience that is indicating that initial thought of I should develop this skill was a good idea. So that. a good day overall. I'll talk about what happened last weekend, maybe tomorrow, or I'll make an extra video on the weekend. I finished the video for today that I was working on. Like I said, so many fucking numbers in it, so it took a while to edit. Went to the gym this morning again, so successfully. I've gone 4 out of the 4 days that have been in this week so far. I'm starting to get in the routine. It wasn't nearly as busy this time, but I can start to see myself becoming more comfortable with getting there. Once I become comfortable getting there, then taking the step. Like I'm quite literally, like I'll go stair climber today, and then afterwards we'll like just kind of walk around, look at what machines there are, just kind of poke my head, slightly map it out, just so I don't feel nearly as anxious when I actually have to go walk over there. But yeah, feels good. My voice is normal. If I talk just in my voice, if I use the diaphragm like deeper, talk from my belly, that's when this voice comes out, which I assume is just like the internet said it could take as much as 2 weeks to get your voice back, which scared me at first, but then that might be the reality for it to be perfect. But for the moment, this is all I have, but it's still pretty good. But yeah, good day overall. Nothing to complain about. Energized. Happy to help people, and feedback from the environment is telling me that I am making positive progress towards the goals I have set out to do, which is I am experiencing as positive emotion. So that's that.